A recent survey found that around 30% of the UK workforce wants to try a different job, but many didn't know where to start. So, start of this year's The Apprentice, Tre Lowe, who swapped the recording studio for the boardroom himself, he's been looking into how to get hired.
When we're young, the question of what do you want to be when you grow up conjures up all sorts of exciting possibilities. Astronaut, Hollywood star, racing driver, pilot. But by the time we enter the world of work, our choices can end up seeming somewhat more mundane. So much so that 1 in 4 UK workers say they feel dissatisfied with their careers.
But with British workers increasingly likely to work into their 70s, there's never been a better time to consider change. Whether it's for financial, social, or health benefits, there are loads of reasons for people to take a different path in later life.
You might have heard about some famous faces changing things up. Arnold Schwarzenegger won Mr. Olympia 7 times as a bodybuilder before becoming a famous actor in films like Terminator 2.
Hasta la vista, baby.
And at the age of 56, he became a politician. And Brian Cox went from pop star playing keyboards in 90s group D-Ream to studying the stars as an astrophysicist, explaining the universe to all of us in documentaries like 7 Days on Mars.
Right now, that rover, Perseverance, is 200 million miles away on the surface of Mars.
Even I'm no stranger to career changes. I started off in my younger years as one half of the pioneering UK garage band Architects.
Our 2000 hit Body Groove went platinum.
And then I changed my career again as a coach and a mentor to aspiring creatives and entrepreneurs. And then this very year I changed my career again as the oldest ever contestant in The Apprentice.
I am going to change the world and create a legacy that reverberates through time.
And it's not just me who believes we don't have to settle for one job for the rest of our working lives. An estimated 4 million Brits changed careers in the last year. Jacob Barnes is currently studying to be a neurologist, but he spent his younger years rubbing shoulders with the stars as a music journalist.
Probably the ones you most know well, people like Beyonce, interviewing Destiny's Child when they were coming up. I was working for The Sun, and that was obviously a very powerful publication at that time.
The only thing you haven't done is interview the architects.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know how we didn't. We
Definitely would have crossed path at that time. Were you starting to think about there's not necessarily going to be a future as a music journalist around that time?
So being a journalist, it paid, I mean, at times it paid really well, paid more than I earn now. But at the same time, it was sort of a bit financially precarious because you were never that, your contracts were short. And then I thought, okay, time to do something completely different. I already had a long-standing interest in science and thought, okay, I could have a crack at applying to medicine. So I came back home, lived with my parents, worked as a healthcare assistant in the local hospital and went back to school because you had to have A-levels to apply. So I was 40 when I started med school, 2011. And I was the oldest in the year. Yeah.
And if you could just explain to us what exactly a neurologist does.
So neurologists look after conditions that affect the brain and nervous system, such as stroke, Parkinson's disease, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis.
Were there any times along the journey where you actually felt like quitting?
Yeah, I think most doctors, to be honest. It's a hard job. There is a lot of satisfaction, but I'm very lucky to be able to have done that.
Big career changes can take time and be costly if there's training involved. But there is support out there for people thinking of taking the plunge. Stuart Lewis is the co-founder of Restless, a digital community and job site for the over 50s.
People aged in their 50s and 60s have a huge amount to offer employers in the workforce. So they have a rich amount of life experience, which helps them with decision making. It means they're not thrown when something comes at them off the cuff. They have very good communication skills. They're very organised. There are a number of benefits of considering a career change in midlife. So a renewed sense of purpose and energy. Often we see people they come and tell us that they've got so much more energy having changed career and following a passion that they've always wanted to do.
And there are health benefits.
Loneliness can actually take away years of our life. We forget how much of our social network comes from the workplace. There are a number of studies that show real benefits from continuing to use your brain actively.
Fran Varley spent most of her life working as an environmental consultant and for her local church, but has recently qualified as a geography teacher at the age of 49.
My children were growing up, and you just look at time and think, what could I do that's different? And just working out what I really enjoyed. So my dad was a geography teacher, and I'm afraid geography is just in the blood, and it just was natural to start thinking about teaching. So I have been on such a steep learning curve, and that's what I really enjoy. I enjoy learning and then teaching the kids what I've just learnt.
So you're studying at the same time as your kids were studying. What was that like?
My daughter and I went to the university library and we worked together, which was really lovely.
What would you say to someone that was thinking about changing their career at the age of, late 40s, 50s?
It's not too late. I mean, it's been hugely rewarding. Don't, if you're bored, don't sit there and stay bored, because you don't want to get to the end and regret it. Try something new, definitely.
And for those of you who might be considering retraining, Stuart has a few words of wisdom.
Starting with the what is one of the first steps. So it's important to think about, are you looking for a role with more flexibility? Are you looking for a role that works with more in the community or engages with people more? Are you looking for a role that follows a passion that you had 30 years ago? When it comes to making applications, one of the things we really encourage people to do is to focus on quality of application over quantity. It can be tempting to try the spray and pray approach and just apply for as many jobs as possible. We'd actually say don't do that. It's really demoralising for your own self-esteem. Focus on write a personalised cover letter, make sure your CV is tailored to that opportunity, and actually believe in your ability to get the job you want, rather than worrying about, am I going to get declined?
It's been great meeting Fran and Jacob today. I'm so inspired by the joy that they both have from embarking on their own careers. And as I hurtle towards 50 myself, I feel really optimistic about what the future holds.
That's great stuff from Tre, isn't it? And it's never too late to have a bit of a change of career. So
Never
give it a spin, give it a spin. Loads of you getting in touch today. Thank you for all your messages. Yeah, you've definitely